Now, now I'm still working in a company in Indonesia calling PT Spanset Indonesia. But overall for 21 years, I involving in the steel wire industries. 16 years in the wire manufacturer, and now 5 years until now, 5 years in the distribution, in the dealership. But along the 21 years in the wire business, for the all 21 years, I acting as the wire application specialist for Indonesian area, and also as well as to the regional Southeast Asia, my experience. So that's why through the company, Dian's company, who already explained in the first, FTP Consulting, I also interesting to use this channel then to sharing about the wire application in many various kind of equipment, so it can be then it can be well known by many users, not only in Indonesia but also in whole the world. Why? Yeah, that's always the question, why? And why then for the next 1 hour I will give the insight in general terms, because to discuss about the wire applications is very wide. From my experience, we cannot discuss it in only 1 hour. So that's why the purpose of this webinar is just to introduce in general. Then maybe if time cannot enough, maybe you can directly contact Dian to raise some question, to make some arrangement, etc. And then Dian can follow up for further. Okay, to make the introduction, my introduce first. Okay, I will start my session.
Close.
Sorry, ini kayaknya keluar ya, Pak Nop. I will call.
Iya, force close, Bu. Force.
Wait, I will try to call him. I don't understand why suddenly. I think that he closed. Sebentar ya. Dirimu keluar nih dari. Sorry, I think that apa namanya salah. Masuk lagi ya, oke. Technical mistake. Sorry ya tuh.
Oke, Dian. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, we
Hello?
can hear you.
Yes, yes. Sorry,
can
guys.
start.
Accidentally just accidentally push wrong
You
button.
hit, yeah, you hit wrong button.
Okay, continue again. Okay, can you see now the slides?
Yes, we can see very well.
Okay, the next slide. Some facts about steel wire rope. Yeah, from my experience, that's I found so many fact in the wire rope application, mainly in users for crane application. That first, wire rope is a simple product from the geometry and the manufacturing process. I mean, from the geometry, wire rope only is a wire spin together into the strand, and strand spin together into the finished rope. Wire rope overally only consists of wire, mostly consists of wires. So as the geometry one is as the cross section, wire rope is very simple, not just like another things in lifting. Let's say in the crane systems, there's some engine, there's some PLC electrical, is quite complicated. But wire rope is a simple product. That's the first fact. And also from the manufacturing process, there's no any sophisticated process, only spinning the wire on the machine. So overall, wire rope is simple products. Another second is even that is very simple. However, wire rope is very critical application for lifting on various type of cranes and for slinging as a wire rope sling. Very often, then the wire rope is used in the harsh and demanding condition. This is the most extreme condition of wire application. Maybe you can see the picture on the right side. This is just to show you that I always then divide the type of application wire rope as two parts. Yeah, during my presentation, during my training on the users, below the hook, I usually call it as a slinging, which the application is for wire rope slings. And over the hook, we call it as usually call it as crane ropes. Both the applications is a very different behavior. Yeah, because for the wire rope for slinging, this consists as a lifting gear to connect between the load into the hook. But for the wire rope over the hook, it's a moving parts components, which starts with some pulleys. It moving contact with another metal material, just like pulleys, rollers, or drum, etc., etc. Wire rope, wire rope is one of key factor for safety and optimum performance. That's why I always then tell to the so many wire rope users, mainly on cranes application, or during the training or the meeting, I always ask to them, what is the main objective of your crane operation in terms of wire rope application? However, I raised this question, but so many people then just answer my question only to get the bonus, to cut costs. They always tends to concern about the second one. But I always said that no. The most important one about the wire application on cranes is safety. Safety always number one. There's no use you get the big money, big bonus because your performance to use a wire on your application. If after that you got injury, you cannot work in the company again because there's an incident happen on your premises. So I always ask the users to put in their mindset that number one is safety. Yes, second is optimum performance by using the ropes so efficient. Then the rope can use from the first install until that the cranes dismantle with the expected lifetime achieved. But number one is safety. Another facts, some failure operation in the field cause fatalities, injuries, and facilities damage. Okay, I found in the internet a statistic of crane incident, but that is not from literature from Indonesia, but from Singapore, because in Singapore they're very strict about the safety on the construction. They have some data that from some incident for cranes, approximately less than 10% is caused by the failure of the wire rope. So this is quite significant. Next is the lack of knowledge and safety awareness from users. This is very important. Until now, I still found that so many users that they operating so many cranes, but they never got about for a wire rope training. They just do operating the crane, install the rope, do inspection, but even they don't know what is the basic knowledge, what is the according standard about the wire rope operation and wire rope safety, about the discard criteria for the wire rope they use on the cranes. Not many users appreciate that there are literally thousands of wire rope design, which divided in some specific category. That this is another fact. That's people, the wire rope users, still think that wire rope only one diameter. The users just think that they only need to know about diameter and the length of the wire rope. Still many users asking about the wire rope, just mention what is the diameter and what is the length they want to use. The diameter and the length of the rope they required is not sufficient to describe about what is the correct specification, correct description of the wire rope using on their units. The fact there's so many wire design, and there are almost 25 category of wire rope cranes according to ISO standard 4009, 2010. Another facts, some international standards. All the participants, you can see that there's some international standard, British standard, API, ASME. For design specification, there are also standard for recommended practice for application, for inspection. There's standard for wire rope sling, and etc. There's another standard, Australian standard, but the standards I mentioned on the slides is the standard which usually used on the application. Manufacturer instructions. This is something that's very often forgotten by the users, that they don't read the manual book of their equipment carefully and then check what is the instruction from the manufacturer about the wire rope application, about the wire rope maintenance, check what is the rejection criteria instructed by the crane maker. Even also, they don't check whether the rope install and their new unit is state, the specification of the rope is stated in the manual book. If the specification of the rope on the crane state on the manual book, is that the correct specification one or not? Because from my experience, I ever found that found that the wire rope install on the new unit of offshore cranes is incorrect specification. So during the operation, there's some problem happen. I will show on my photo to show you that specification not optimal specification is using for laughing crane on the offshore crane on the well service rig in for offshore, but that is also stated on the manual book. So what I mean is the users must check all the correct information according to the standard. Even the crane manufacturer, there's some part of point they will put in correct specification. We still find it. Okay. Last fact that there's compromise on the wire selection and application. The fact is there's the left one, the strength, fatigue resistance is the wire rope properties. And then, the right one, the list of the right one about the customer requirement. The fact is then when the user do selection of the wire rope for their application, they must consider all these factors because they must understand about what the characteristic of the wire rope. Also, they must consider about what the service life of the wire rope can given, what is the cost, and then the most important is also the availability of the wire rope itself in the market, because until now there's so many equipment using the wire rope and their country and their area, but that is the wire rope not familiar on that area. So when they want to change the rope and they want to get from the existing dealer, it's so difficult then to get the availability of the rope. That's a common problem also in Indonesia. I don't know in the other country do they feel the same again, that sometimes there are wire on the crane equipment, but it's very difficult then to get the product in the market when the customers, the user want to repair. Okay, there's some facts that still happen until now, and then all the fact is then very influenced for the safety and the optimum lifetime of the performance of wire rope. Okay, what is the wire rope? Okay. Wire rope is just like I said, wire rope is a simple product. You can say the cross section of the wire rope. You call only the most components only consist of wire from various kind of diameters. Wire rope is a moving part. Consider as a moving part that in the wire rope itself, in the internal wire rope, when they use in the application, it's moving each other, metal between metal, cause the abrasion internal. When the wire rope running across over the pulley, it also there an abrasion, there a friction between the wire rope and the surface of the pulley. It also causes the abrasion when and then after the specific period, diameter of the rope will be reduced. There's a gap between a wire rope. What is the purpose of the gap between strand? There are people thinking that, oh, this wire rope, the gap, there a gap. The wire rope should be touch each other. There's another misconception about the wire rope, the strand of the wire rope. So many people still thinking there's no the wire rope, there's no gap. They should touch each other. Wrong. On the wire rope need a gap. For what? To give the clearance when the wire rope give a load, because when there's no any load, the wire rope still standing. But where the wire rope lift the load, so there's elongation on the rope, so the between the strand will touch each other. There is still an empty room between the strand. Because the wire rope is a moving part also, the contact will affect to the lifetime. The wire rope itself needs to be fit by the lubricant, because there's no friction between each other. So the wire rope must be lubricated since the beginning and also then during operation. Okay, this is the simple cross-sectional wire rope. Just like I said, that the wire rope is a simple product, only consists of wire, single wire, then spin together into B strand. After the we make the strand and then spin again to be a finished rope. Okay. So from the fact is that there's so many construction, there's so many type of the type of the wire rope. Just I said in the earlier that still so many users think that we only need to know about the diameter and the required length without consider any detailed specification. What is the lie length? What is the core? What is the tensile grade? What is the coating? Yeah. So that's why from this session, maybe the next from you, we can move further to discuss more details, step by step about the wire rope technique. Then from all this information can develop your mindset, it can improve your mindset, giving awareness. Then at the end, then you can do it, the application of wire rope with the safety and optimal performance. In the wire rope also from this slide, you can see so many symbols from the pictures, and also symbols from the notation. You can see 6 times 7 FC, 6 times 19 FC. It has a meaning. If you see this notation, for example, 636 IWRC is meanings, the number in the front meanings amount of the strand on the wire rope, and the notation in the back one, 6 meaning that total amount of wire strands. Yeah. This slide also show you, beside the cross section, also show you another so many types of the wire rope. You can see in the left one is a conventional type, non-compacted. Yeah. Why I show you the three-dimensional side? Because to show the difference between each part. In the first slide, you can see the front of cross section. It's very difficult then to figure to you, but what is the difference? What is the shape different? But the fact is, on the reality, you will find so many type the rope. In the left one, you can call it the conventional type or the non-compacted type. You can see on the individual wires, this looks like still round. Still round. This is a very basic type. Very basic type, and very common using in the many type of ropes. But now so many crane makers, they develop their crane more tough, more stronger with the same equipment. So they think what type of wire rope we will use to increase the capacity with the same diameter of the rope. So it then moving to the right side, some crane maker then using what we call it as the compacted type of rope. Can you see the difference between the conventional and the compacted one? You can see to the shape of the difference that the individual strand, you can see that's very flat because the individual strand was compacted during manufacture. Yeah. The interesting one until now on the field, there's so many users could not differ between with the compacted one, with this one, the conventional one. Very common when they ask to the vendor, to their supplier to get the wire, they only mention the diameter and the length without then describe more detail is any detail which the type of rope one is conventional or the compacted type, because the compacted type has about 80%, 18% to 20% higher breaking load for the same grade or same tensile compared to the conventional type. So this is another example. From the compacted one also, if we move to the right side one, there's another compacted using plastic inside the core and using plastic both inside and outside the rope itself. Yeah, so there's so many types for the special application. This is we can call this type of rope, this picture example, as 8 of 6 strand type of rope. This is another rope we usually call as a multi-strand or rotational resistant strand or a low rotation rope, and some people calling as non-rotating rope. See, you can see the different cross-section, different type with the previous slides. It's very different. With this rope is a very special application, mainly for high lifting, mainly for head of lift crane ropes. Why? Because if the head of lift getting hit on the rope application on the crane, this lifting operation will result rotation on the rope. The rotational effect, because the head of lift getting bigger, and this rotation induced by lifting totally could not help by the previous type of rope, but it can be resisted by this type of rope, which we're calling as rotation resistant or low rotation of ropes. You can see the cross section. The left one is the conventional one, and the right side is the compacted one. Again, you can see what is on the strand. You can see the difference. This is more smooth one on its strand, and this is the round strand one on the left side one. Also, you can see in the cross section of the this rotation resistant in the right side here, that the direction of the spinning on the inside always opposite on the outer side. Why? Again, this is for torsional imbalance. This is very special rope with only used to anticipate the rotation during the head of lift is quite high, which could not be resisted by the 6 or the 8 strands rope. Okay, the previous some slides is a basic one. Hopefully it can give you to refresh you about many type of crane. What's happening on the field? I want to share some case I found on the field. First, incorrect installation procedure on RTG port cranes. You can see these 5 pictures is the same rope actually. This is the same length of rope, but after this rope installed in the rubber tired gantry crane on the one of port crane, after spooling on the drum, the users confusing because they found 5 different area they found this looping wire. Yeah, and they don't understand why there's a looping wire on the new roof, and they think that the roof is bad, and they just complain to the vendor, hey, why do you supply the new wire with this some loops after I install the roof? They don't realize that this is come out because they do incorrect installation procedure. This is my personal experience. After received the call, because the site is not in Jakarta, then a few days ago I flew through that area. I don't have any idea why. But during I walk on the yard to go to the RTG to check this looping wire, the users by the time was installing the roof on a different RTG, and I saw the picture on the right upper picture, and then I see this is what caused why there's a looping wire, because they did the wrong procedure of installation. Yeah, they positioning this wooden rail like this, and then they lift up the end of the rope upper to the drum, and of course that this process will induce tone very high, and by they don't realize after they install the drum, some looping wires come up to the outside like this. But I said to them, no worry, just remove all the wires by pliers with correct procedure also. Now, this is the second things that when the users install the new roof and they found something strange like this, or sometimes the wire roof supplied by the vendor is very small portion, they're a protruded wire. And for so many users, they already worry. I said, no worry, just remove the wire with correct procedure. Oh yeah, it's still safe? Yes, safe. But with correct procedure. How? Using the pliers, but not by cutting, but by put the end of the pliers to the wires and bend it forward and backward until the rope itself broken. So the end of the broken wire will between interstrand, and it's not will influence the surrounding of the strand from the broken wire, and it will save until the rope end on for use. Yeah, so I just cut all this loop and then remove all the wires safely, no problem, and then the rope can be used until it achieves what the user expected. Okay, the deformation of 218-inch compacted 626 drilling line on drill vessel. This is another story on the new drilling vessel. Few years ago, maybe it's about I don't know, 10 years ago, on the shipyard in the South Korea. Incident happened, and when the drill ship fabricator installed the drilling line and then did the commissioning on the drawworks, something happened, and then there's some incident. The rope broken, and so they must cut the part of the rope and reinstall the rope, and they still reinstall the deformed part. They know when they cut the rope, they still left it into the part, the deformed one, into the part they want to continue use, because they still think when the hoisting load by the load, then the deformed part in the right circle, it can be straight again. No. Then I did inspection on that shipyard, because by the time my company who supplied the rope, and then I said, no, you cannot let you cannot let that deformed part continue to use with the mindset that it will be straight again. No, that part already plastic, deformed plastic, and then they will that part will be the most critical one when it pass through the pulley. So soon or later, the user will change the rope because that part the most weak one during operation. So rather than the users continue using it, better you just cut it from now. Then you get all the part rope which still good. So the point is, sometimes user cannot determine which the part one and still try to get the opportunity by using the plastic deformation rope one. What's happening in the field? Deformed strand, you can see in the red box, deformed strand due to crashing on multi-layer spooling. So in the earlier, there are some participation from port, and I believe there's some participation also from mobile crane users. Totally different behavior or the unit on the port crane and also the mobile crane, just like crawler or telescopic. One of the big difference is on the drum itself. For port cranes, mostly they're using a single layer spooling, but for most of crawler and mobile crane application, offshore pedestal crane, because their units should be made very compact. So for the amount of length of wire rope, they use a small drum. The crane maker make a small drum for the specific length of rope. The spooling must be used a multi-layer spooling. Multi-layer spooling system is the most potential problem one, mainly in the drum. So when I do inspection on the multi-layer spooling, so I always firstly inspect the wire rope spooling on the drum, because this is the most mechanical damage happen on the drum compared to the wire rope through the individual. So hopefully this is give you more understanding the difference between the spooling on the single layer and the multi-layer spooling. You can see the damage, because this is because this type of damage and the block and the red box, this is because the interference between the rope, the upper and the top one, and the crashing from the upper rope to the bottom rope to the lower rope on the drum. Mechanical damage due to abrasion to roller QCC port cranes. Yeah, this is, I don't understand my experience also that on the QCC in one port, 2 times their lifetime performance dropping 2 times from the initial one. They could not achieve the expected lifetime, and then they asked to me, why? So when I climbed to the trolley on the QCC, I found that some rollers already damaged like this. Yeah, damaged like this. So this is the root cause why then the lifetime of this QCC dropping significantly. Why this has happened? Because most of the end user, the owner of the port, give the maintenance to the contractor. And the contractor, yeah, very often then just tell to the owner something good. And sometimes from my experience, the contractor who do maintenance on this crane, they don't also a good knowledge about the wire rope application. They only focus to check the rope. Maybe they only focus to the pulley, but they never think that this roller can also influence the lifetime of the rope. Why? Because the roller is very obvious. The roller could not free moving. Maybe the bearing already damaged, yeah, or many causes. Yeah, for this example, when I check on this part during operation, even that is prohibited, I climbing to that area during operation just to check. I saw that when the rope touched this roller, the roller even didn't move. Yeah, so the abrasion between the rope and the roller can cause the rope lifetime drop significantly. The firm compacted 35x7 low rotation laving rope on well serviced jackup rig. There's two aspects. There's two things about this. For this example, you can see this is a laving rope, and then there's some deformation, wavy on this rope. It's very clear on this picture, and then you know this laving rope is low rotation rope installed since this rig sent to the end user in West Madura. So I checked to the manual book. In the manual book, very clearly also mentioned about specification of 35x7 low rotation rope. Yeah, so it's very clear that the crane maker didn't understand what is the correct specification for laving rope application, because in the API RP2D also mentioned that never use low rotation or rotation resistant rope as a boom hoist, as a laving rope, or as a derrick rope. But the fact is, this happened on site. Since the manufacturer and delivery does this well service rig, the rope install already this low rotation rope. So during the operation, again, there's a mechanical problem during spooling. Yeah, for this operation. So when during spooling, first layer, second layer from the rope, make a second layer and do transition from second to the third, because maybe the fleet angle too tight, too small, so the rope could not move soonest to the another side, but it just climbed to the second layer and then just suddenly drop. And because this process make the snap every spooling from the 2 to the third one. Because this snap, it's kind of shock loading happen always during the lifting operation, make the all rig vibrate, moving very heavily. Because the rope is low rotation, then it's very easy for the rope to deform like this. Maybe it's different if the rope for laving using sticks or a strand rope. So these two root cause, mechanical problem and incorrect type of rope using by the crane maker. Wire broken during lifting the concrete bucket at 12th floor building construction. This is the application for tower crane. You know, oh, this is the incident. I explained that the tower crane using this multi-strand rope or rotation strand rope and lifting the cement concrete on the 12th floor, and it just suddenly the wire rope is broken. The concrete falls down, and still lucky there's no any persons injured, only facilities damage on the building construction. And then the user just asked to me just to check, and they blame the rope because the broken. But I asked to, they show me to the broken end. You see on the left upper side, the broken end, the wire already separated between each other. So they show it. I said, no. I want to show which the part of the rope still good one. And they show me the rope still good one on the right side upper one. Yeah, still good one. And then I close visually show for some broken wires, and then I counted, and also I check the actual diameter on that broken wire. I count it, I measure it, and then I quantified the condition, and I found that rope deterioration is 200%, while 200% according to ISO 4309 standard, while the ISO saying that the maximum rope for this card is 100%. See, you can imagine that the users must be ignore the correct time for discard this rope, but they take a risk just to continue the rope without know what is the condition of this rope on their tower crane. Yeah, because from the evidence we found that the rope already 200% damage, while the standard saying change the rope where based on the visual check, inspection, according to the standard 49, for example, achieve 100%. This is another example that the users just thinking how to save the cost, but ignore the safety. What's happening on the field? This is the tower crane application also, which very often also found on the telescopic mobile crane, because the similar type of rope, deformation, birdcage, like this, on the right side, and deformation on the rope. Yeah, it's very common happen in telescopic crane, tower crane, or coral crane with using long boom. Again, deformation of this rotation resistant rope. Why I show this type of deformation happening on the rotational resistant rope? Because this is the rope, the type of rope which is very sensitive for the misoperation, mishandling, miscutting. I mean, this type of rope must be handled carefully since the installation, since the cutting. When the user want to cut this rope into two parts, you must do proper procedure. Otherwise, you will give the deformation on the rope during operation, and then make the lifetime is shorter than the expectation. Okay, this is the typical behavior of the low rotation rope, because the outer side is the different direction with the internal side, internal part. So there always internal bending between the wires, the outer wires and the inner wires when the rope bend over the pulley. And then it's very common then inside part, if you open it, there's some marking like this. Okay, broken wire on pier socket's neck usually happen on a gantry, ship unloader, a floating crane, etc. I don't know whether you are quite familiar with this type of socket. We call it Snemack pier socket. It's very different with another type, spelter socket. This is a socket we also move with the moving of the wire rope, usually used on the grab application for ship unloader or for floating crane or transshipment, coal transshipment on the sea. Yeah. Okay. This is broken the neck of the socket. usually happen caused by the improper socketing procedure, just like the example. And the right upper side is the example of the good result of wire socketing on the socket. So this is another example happening on the field. Okay. So why we do wire rope examination? Yeah, from the initial part, definition, the basic terminology of the wire rope, some facts still fun until now about the wire rope users, the wire rope application, and then the reality, some case happen on the field about the wire rope for the wire rope application, and then we must from now then thinking about how important the wire rope examination. Yes, the wire rope examination we are sure that conducted by every user of wire rope, but the question is, when the users and the wire rope customers using the wire rope, do they proper examination? Do they do inspection or examination according to the relevant standard? Still happen so many users using the criteria without know with the standard they follow, or without know refer to the manual book, what we say the manual book. They just refer, oh yeah, because the previous manager or the previous superintendent using the standard, we just follow. This still happen until now from my experience. So again, to at the end, to achieve the main objective of the wire application, just like I said in the earlier, safety and optimum performance. The key is how the wire up users do wire up examination. Okay, what is the objective of the wire up examinations? First, to establish the condition of the rope, whether its fit remain in surface. If the rope inspected or examined still remain in surface, is it safe to be used? What is the degree of the damage happen under use? And then this is the objective of the inspection. And overall, to ensure the rope is removed will still in safe condition. If based on the inspection or examination, then the rope must be removed. Yeah, but when the rope must be removed, we are sure if the inspector using the relevant standard, the rope must be removed whether still in safe condition. Okay, what is the safe condition of the rope, the removable rope? You can see in the picture on the right side. Still lucky that the user on this premises still got that picture with this kind of broken wire. See, I mean, they still find it because it means they still have time, then they still have chance then to soon as replace this rope. But another place, maybe they don't have any time to replace the rope, but because the rope already broken and then make some incidents. Yeah, we can compare with the chain. Chain is the lifting equipment with the most robust, stronger than wire rope, more durable, easier to storage. But chain, when the chain want to broken, just broken. They don't give any signal. The chains even doesn't give any signal when the chain want to broken. We must conduct a very carefully inspection on the chain. But on the wire rope, itself, actually, wire can talk to the users. Wire can speak. How wire speak to the users? With its condition. Hey, if there any one broken wire, users just thinking that the wire talking about, hey, I already have one broken wire. Can you give more attention to me? Yeah, that's kind of conversation if the wire can talk, but wire can talk from its condition. To do wire examination, very important to the inspectors or the competent person have some important knowledge. There's some lists on my slides, with a very complete information if to be owned by the wire inspectors or the competent person in the wire inspectors. Wire manufacturing process, the inspectors must know about legislation standards, know about this design and manufacturing, some type of rope terminations, because there's so many type of rope termination. One of that is already explained as a peer socket, type of rope deterioration, examination procedures, discard criteria, record and cumulative effect according to ISO 4309. There's so many, besides 4009 as a reference of international standard for wire projection criteria, there's also ASME B30.5. There is also API recommended practice to be for reference of wire discard criteria. But the applications depend on the regulation instruction using on the users industries. In oil and gas company, oil and gas industries use so many often they refer to the for example, for offshore crane ropes, for offshore pedestal crane rope application, for the rejection criteria, they refer to API RP2B. For drilling operation, they refer to API recommended practice 9B. For some industries, they refer to ASME B30.30, but the most is using 4309. But the most users also, they don't know about what is the relevant standard they use on their criteria. That's something happened also until now. What make your wire rope is safe? This is the 5 things I believe, and I suggest you to do this. To do these steps to always make your wire rope is safe. First, look after your wire rope during storage, installations, usage, and maintenance. And of course, these steps must be relevant, must be used the relevant international standard. Yeah. Yes, you can look after storage, but you can store the rope anywhere without any consider the relevant standard. Yeah, it cannot then guarantee the safe of using a wire rope. Second, check correctly daily, weekly, monthly, and replace when necessary. The users can then divide the group who the group do daily, weekly, and who do monthly. I always suggest for the crane operators to have a behavior attitude to do checking prior to the start the engine, prior for the operation, and also for the shifting man, for the second shift or etc. Always do the inspection on the wire rope after the first operator, after the first shift, because Yeah, after the operation, it could be then the wire rope moving from its place, maybe move the positions not good on the drum. So it's very important to do daily check prior to the operation to just to make sure the wire rope is its place, no displace. You can imagine if the operator of the crane didn't have any of these habits, it could be then one time the wire maybe not on its place, but because the operator doesn't check, so there's the rope maybe then just jump out from the pulley. But it's different maybe if the operator do check in first, he saw that, oh yeah, there's some wire rope displaced. The operator can report to the maintenance person to remove it, to repair it, to back it into the initial place. Third, visual inspection remains the recognized method of inspection steel wire rope. Yeah, I already said there's an ISO 4309, there is a API, there is an ASME as a recognized method for visual check. For another, maybe using another methods of inspection with equipment, maybe using magnetic, acoustic, optical, which can help the inspector to emphasize the inspector visual inspection. 5, the last but the most important ones is the life of inspection of previous rope. In other words, is the historical of your rope on the specific equipment. It's just like medical record of your wire rope. I still found so many users on the wire rope in the port industries and the oil and gas and the construction. They don't have any medical record of wire rope displacement, wire rope replacement. I mean, when you change your wire rope, do you have also any record of the damage condition, which then the justification for you, which to be justification for your replacement? So I still found so many users didn't have any complete documentation, the picture, the sample or the photo, at least to complete the record of the rope replacement. This is very important. If you have complete documentation, every you discard, every you replace with the condition of the rope, with the position of the damaged rope, I believe that you can build the more safety and optimum wire rope application in the future, because you can always refer the condition of the previous rope to identify what is the problem of the wire rope in the future. Also very important for the inspectors to know factors causing wire rope deterioration. Yeah, there's 9 example of rope deterioration: normal wear, abrasion, fatigue, corrosion, mechanical damage, deformation, rotation, and so many types and so many examples of rope damage. Okay, so this is the end that from all I explained, it involves so many parts of the rope, so many factors of the operation, so many things that what I discussed from as I said to you on the slides for the first until now is factors which affecting the wire rope life. I just try through this table just to make simplify to make it easier learn by the users. Divide by 3 parts of a big group: design, from the design data, first, and the second from equipment limits, handling and fitting, and factors about the operational conditions. Yeah, you can see from the design is about the complete and detailed wire rope specification. You can see the bold one. That is the complete wire rope specification which every users start to learn it, understand it. So when the users ask or request the wire for replacement to the supplier or vendors, at least they can give or inform the correct specification. Therefore, it will avoid for the confusing between both party. Yeah, because the confusing, it will come up with the problem later on. Yeah, so try to make a habit to give correct detail and correct specification of wire. And then about for the equipment also, there's so many type with part of equipment with involved in the affecting the wire life, about drum and sheath condition, type of drum and sheath materials. Okay. If interesting about the type of the material of sheath material, there in the crane, there's some cranes still using the steel material, and there now we found that there's so many pulleys also or sheath using the Teflon or synthetic materials. Please note, this is very important. If the users using sheath pulley, sheath synthetic pulley materials, so the criteria for broken wires must be different. Of course, for example, if your cranes using a sheath or pulley from steel materials, and for example, you decide the maximum broken wire is 9. So when you using or change the pulley to the synthetic or Teflon material, you must divide the number of broken wire into half. If using the steel material, for example, is 9. When you are using the Teflon or synthetic, the number of maximum broken wire to be 4. Yeah, maybe next time I can explain more detail. Yeah, unreeling of coil methods is about procedure of installation, sizing, guiding, operational condition, etc., etc. All the factors also must be referred to the user guidance and regulation for operations and guidance from wire cranes and manufacturer. Why this is the first one? Because the guidance from crane manufacturers has a good standing, for law rather than the standard itself. Okay, and then all the factors also rely on, also relevant to the international standards, ISO, British, API, ASME, and other standards. At the end, why wire examination? This is the graph which reflect the your wire lifetime. When the wire initial deployed to the crane, the breaking strength is still 100%. And then when the wire already on operation, the number of cycles adding higher and higher. Okay, and then every user for the wire lifetime should be follow this graph. But the fact is, when we do wire examination, when we do it, what we found is where is the point of your 100% discard criteria. So when you do the wire up inspection or examination, actually you're looking for where is your 100% discard criteria. Where's the point? So the point is depend on you. What is your rejection criteria on your site, on your application? It could be different between you participant, but it could be different between each other. When you already have, where is the point is, the next question, is that already optimum or not? Why? Because there's some users do approach very moderate. They want very safety. They want to change their rope so safety. So when they just have, let's say, 3 broken wires, they already instruct to change it to safety. Yeah, I have a customers has a complaint. Hey, I just I just changed my rope, and my wire rope is not achieve the expecting lifetime. Can you inspect it? So I did inspection, and then I checked the broken wire on the damaged part, check the rope diameter, and then I reflected to the ISO 4309 because the application in the shipping. And then I make a report, found that, after calculating all that broken wire and quantify all that diameter, I found that the damage is 30%. So I showed the report to the users. Hey, your wire rope sample showing you replace your wire rope in 30% damage. Oh, what does this mean? It means that you still have 70% it's not used. So you pay too much. This is one example who more safety. But another things one, the users want to save costs, want to saving money, but ignore the safety. Just like the previous example on the tower crane application, when I did inspection and I found that the damage rope already achieved 200%, while previously when the rope already achieved 100%, the users must replace it, but the users didn't do it and risk the operation to the incident. Still lucky there's no any injured person. Yeah. So at the end, this is the message we want to deliver to you. That at the end, your position of the wire rope application on this reflector, this graph could be different each other, and you can ask to yourself, to your team, where your wire rope operation already achieve the optimum lifetime or not, the most safe one or not. Okay. Okay, finish. Thank you. Hopefully what I deliver to you, what I show to you about these slides for the initial can give the general insight, just like I said in the earlier, that is the wire rope things, the wire rope applications is so wide, so various type. I believe we cannot deliver it in 1 hour. Okay. Thank you. If there are any question, I give the time to Dian to conduct this. I give it to Dian.
Thank you so much, Pak Nobertus. I appreciate you share your knowledge about wire rope. I know you for many years since you work from previous company as a wire rope engineer. So thank you so much, and hopefully our participant can use your information in their workplace and achieve safe lifting operation. I had experience with a wire rope accident long time ago when I worked with Chevron, and I invite Pak Nobertus to come to my site and did some inspection for my wire rope broken before, but lucky we don't have any fatality. So many questions pop up in my mind about wire rope, and until now sometimes it is difficult for me to understand because it's huge information about wire rope itself. So now we start our Q&A. If you have any question about wire rope, we still have around 30 minutes to answer all of your question. Pak Nobertus or myself can answer your question, so you understand better about wire rope inspection. So I think that I have one question here from, I have two questions here from Pak Suhardono. Now you can turn on your computer, your video, sorry. And now I have a question from Pak Suhardono. Are there certain regulations that wire rope must be certified a competent party and must be inspected regularly? Maybe Pak Nobertus can answer this, and I can add some information if Pak Nobertus not cover for the explanation.
Sorry, I just focus looking for my on my video. So can you repeat again the question?
Yeah. So are there certain regulation that wire rope must be certified a competent party and must be inspected regularly? You answer first. Go ahead, Pak.
Okay. There's a question. Is there any regulation that wire rope must be certified by a competent party? Pastor, I don't know, maybe what you mean is a third party, maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
No, certain party, like a third party, like come from Radian or BKI or something like
from
that.
BKI.
Okay. Okay, I can answer. So first, from the supplier, is it from the supplier? This is wire wire certification. You can check to the wire certificate when first time you receive the wire from supplier. First, the certification is quite enough. Yeah, but it's depend on the end users. It's again depend on the end users. So password is depend on your company. Yeah. Okay. Just like I said, there's so many wire brand. For example, in Indonesia, I believe in other countries there are also so many wire brand distribute on that area. Yeah, there's some wire brand already said comply to the British standard, API standard, ASME. So I always said that when the wire rope is complied to this three standard for wire rope specification, from the quality view already fulfill the international quality. Yeah, it reflected to the documentation to the on the test certificate for the wire rope during the first on the wire rope supply to your place, Pak Suhardono. So if the end users, the company require that not only the certification from the factory, but must also verified by third-party body. Yeah, it's your decision, Pak. So it's not mandatory actually. Can you understand, Pak Suhardono? Just like inspected by BKI, from the initial supply, it's not a mandatory from my experience, because during I was in the wire rope maker, In the wire factory, we supply to all company, but in this some customer by the time from oil and gas, but not all oil and gas, only specific, only very rare. They ask, for example, ABS certification. So we just take a sample of rope, do a broken wire, witnessing by the guy, and okay, but mostly it's they can accept the test certificate from the wire rope maker, Pak. Is it explained, Pak Suardono?
Thank you, Pak Nurul, for the answer. This quiet in Indonesia is not the common practice that the rope must be certified by the third party. So I think that for the safety reason that in future there must be government or something to control it, to ensure that the wire rope is checking regularly at least 6 months or 1 year or 3 months, so it can be controlled for the safety reason. In the port industry in Singapore, that it's a common practice that the wire rope must be labeled by Ministry of Industry or something. I cannot remember, but on the wire rope, the risk must be labeled with the serial number and then the SVL. So when the inspection done and issue date, and the next inspection date must be tagged on the wire or another lifting gear application. Thank you, Pak.
Okay, you're welcome, Pak Suardono. Maybe I can just add a little. Okay, it could be then a long discussion to continue, yeah, to make to discuss further on, Pak Suardono. But I just want to emphasize that actually what you say about the government regulation, for example, in Indonesia, I don't know another country, maybe from the participant, if there any other country, maybe you can explain. Actually, in the Kementerian Pekerjaan apa namanya, Work and Ministry in Indonesia already has Ministry of Work of Indonesia already their regulation about the lifting equipment, about the health safety. Yeah, already you can follow. You can refer to that regulation, Pak Suardono, first, and there's some standards which also just standard which I explained before, ISO, ASME, API, who state about for regular inspection. Yeah, so I think I just suggest you to looking for this information, study on that, and then you decide to apply on your premises, Pak. Because in this forum and then in any training I conduct to many users, then the decision is on the users. I only drive, only open the information. I only encourage the users to always refer to the standard first. This is the standard, just to introduce to the users, because there's still so many users doesn't know this is the relevant standard they can using. Very useful for the users to apply to get the safety optimum performance. Okay, and then the very important is refer to the manufacturer recommendation, manufacturer instruction, which is already in the manual book. So always refer to your manual book. First, manual book. Second, compare your manual book with the relevant standard. If you already have these two, I think it's enough for you to, or any user, to decide the standard and procedure you want to apply, yeah, to your wire operation. Third, maybe you can, looking for this forum, you can looking for the person who experienced to help you, yeah, to understand about how we using this some point of standard to our operation. Okay, but this is what I just add to you, and maybe next time you can make it more. Okay, is there any question? Okay, you're welcome, Pak. On the message here, I read a question from Santos Kumar. Is there any tool to deduct the internal corrosion of the wire rope? Okay, I just try to understand the question. Internal corrosion. Okay. The only tool to deduct the internal corrosion of the wire rope is only the maintenance program to your operation, Pak Santos. Yeah. Yeah. The best tool is to do relubrication on your wire rope regularly. How to when must do regular lubrication to our rope? First, I always suggest to any user to always grease or lubricate your wire rope since the rope installation. Why? Some users saying, oh, I think we don't need, some users saying that I think we don't need to lubricate the rope during the installation because there any grease on the rope when we receive from the supplier or vendor. No. I said the grease which already on the new rope is not the grease not for operation. This is the grease or lubrication for production, manufacturing. In the factory, when they spin the wire into the strand, they always do lubrication during spinning. Why? Because spinning on rotate, because spinning the wire into the strand by rotation, of course, there's a contact between the steels and there's some hot, and then the lubricant itself function as a cooler. And the second, also the lubricant during manufacture has a function to protect the rope during transportation from the factory to the supplier, and then maybe in the supplier the rope not directly supply all but still store, and then from the supplier or vendor supply to the end user, and the end user on the site, maybe whether they have the closed warehouse or they don't have, or they put the rope outside, at least it is to protect the wire rope also, mainly for the ungalvanized rope by this grease to protect during storage. But again, this is the grease not for operation. So I always suggest to do relubrication with the grease special for wire rope, not for everything then you are using for the rope. No. For the grease, where there's instruction for wire rope, put since the installation from the rope installation, and then you do by visual to check whether your grease already dry. Yeah, just put it first. Second, if you have any capability to do rope greasing using pressurized tools, yes, it will penetrate to the inside of the rope. Then of course, this is the only tool to deduct, to reduce the acceleration of the internal corrosion. Yeah, so that's why I could answer to your question, Pak Santos Kumar. Hopefully, this is answer your question. Okay, is there any
The
other
next,
question?
the next question is how range of maximum temperature wire rope are safe to be used? I get reference from ASME B30.5, maximum can use 204 Celsius. How about we use above 204 Celsius, for example, used in furnace area?
Okay, I just forget for specific temperatures or I forget. Maybe it's approximately 200. Still the range which can receive with the wire rope, the maximum, and also there's the minimum minus. I don't remember because this is very rare happening. Yes, but the correct that, let's say I will check. Let's say about 200. Yeah, but again, to 200. I presume that this is the temperature with not direct contact, but maybe there is radiation from the heat itself. For the furnace, I don't know. I believe there's no any contact direct from the flame of the furnace to the wire rope, but if there is a contact between the flame to the wire rope in the furnace, maybe you must looking for the special grease for high temperature. This is my answer. Yeah, because if you don't apply the special grease for high temperature, you just put it the regular grease. Yeah, it can burn then, but it can burn and that's right that your wire rope will continuously dry. When the rope continuously dry, it will reduce the flexibility between wires and it will cause the short lifetime. I'm agree from my experience that application on in the surrounding of the furnace always then problem like this. Yeah.
Okay, for the, I think that I wanna add some information for Pak Suhardono. I wrote in our chat box, Pak. You asked again about you put a snipping on our chat box, and then you said that yes, but not mention detail about the details. So first, like in Indonesia language, alat bantu angkat and angkut harus dilengkapi dengan label nama. I think that this is not for the specific wire rope, but this is alat bantu angkat and angkut. That means is crane. It's not for the wire rope, because alat bantu angkat and angkut. This is in English. We can translate in English. That means that crane. Yeah. So crane. Yes. We have to put some information, but we said that's information identification information. So for the crane itself, we can put like capacity of crane, wire rope. Capacity of crane, safe working load, because it's different. Capacity of crane and safe working load is different for the crane. So make sure that your team understand very well what is the difference between crane capacity and safe working load for the crane, because it's totally different. So if your team doesn't understand what is the difference between safe working load and crane capacity, so I'm sure that your operation is not safe. So you have to understand very well what is the difference. And then date of inspection. And after that, when you have to inspect again for your crane, and after that, that name of your inspector and what company do you use for the inspection, and what is the finding for your inspection, and what type of inspection you did for your crane, because every 6 months and every 1 year is different type of inspection that we have to perform for our crane. So this is for the crane. You mentioned for the crane. So you ask, do we need to use third-party company for crane inspection? Yes, you have to use a third-party company for crane inspection. But I think that port you under Depnaker. I don't know in English Depnaker, yeah. But oil and gas must be under oil and gas ministry. So this is the different. But for the regulation, I think that almost the same. So you have to use third party for your crane inspection. If you ask me why I have to use third party for crane inspection, can I use like just competent person for my inspection? Well, if you have to issue certificate for your crane, government certificate for your crane, so for sure you have to use third party company, which is approved by our government to perform your crane inspection. But for daily activity or monthly inspection, it should be enough. Only your team can perform inspection, because monthly inspection, 6 monthly inspection, or annual inspection is different. And we perform wire rope inspection every 6 months. Every 6 months, we have to perform wire rope inspection. So every 6 months, we have to run like wire rope tester to identify how many broken wire on your wire rope. And this should be covered by your third party. But in daily activity, you have to perform, we call pre-use inspection. So pre-use inspection must be performed before and after use crane. So anytime you have crane inspector change time, you have to use you have to perform pre-use inspection. And if you ask like, do we need a third party for my wire rope inspection? I think that like what Pak Noberto said, no need third party. You can use competent person. This is for sure, but sometimes it's difficult because competent person sometimes like it is difficult for you to identify because people always change the company. So for you, for safe for you, it's better you use a third party, which is a company who understand very well about wire rope inspection. So this is what I want to share with you. And then the other, do you have any question, Pak, regarding this?
Dian, on the message, on the message, on the chat, I mean, I saw about the regulation of Kemenaker. Yeah, I just want to comment that from my point of view, well, I received this regulation, the newest one. I already read it in the brief and found something strange from my point of view, the content itself. I mean, from my point of view, I use this regulation as one reference. What I do, I always do is as my reference, but I also use another tools standards, yeah, to compare. Because to be honest, I read this regulation from the Kemenaker. There's some point which is very difficult to do. For example, to decide the amount of broken wire from the diameter of the wire. How we then busy to measure the diameter of the wire. Okay, so that's why from this session, my purpose, my objective to share this is just to ask you to start open your mind. Yeah, open your mind. Try to find more information from this. I already informed to you all, get all the relevant information, and you have a team together to discuss and study on it. I always said that the decision always in the user. Yeah, never been in the vendor or the crane wire manufacturer. No, the end decision, the final decision is on you, on the user. If you think that it don't need to decide the discard of criteria, the rejection of wire by third party, but by yourself, you just decide by yourself. Yes, the third party may be in, just like Dian said, regularly 1 a year in a part of the complete equipment crane. They check everything. But from my point of view, I always encourage the end user, hey, you must be smarter about how to do inspection of a wire rope rather than the inspector itself. Why? So you can then discuss, not argue, discuss about the result from the inspector. Because I have experience that I conduct a training to wire rope, the member of the inspector company, and then they said, oh, this is what I want to do. I never received this information, but their title is just to inspect the wire rope using the special equipment. That's the fact. Yeah. So I exposed you with many wire rope application in the many industries, in the many of users behavior, even the oil and gas. I asked to the end user when I did inspection, I asked to them, hey, what is your discard rejection criteria using on these premises in this platform? I don't know. Okay, I don't know, because I want to justify my finding. So I just opened all the information on the manual book, and I finally found, okay, ASME API RP2D. Okay, if you refer to this, so this must be reject. Yeah, this must be reject, but how about the possibility to operate this crane with this rope condition? Okay, because you use API 2D, you must be reject. But if you ask the actual, you can compare with the ISO 4309. ISO 4309 saying just 30%. Yeah. How ISO can say 30%? This is the steps. Okay, I just give it the choice to the end users. I just give the information and let the information using the information from me to decide what the necessary things to do. Because on site there's so many situations with the responsibilities on the users, not in the vendor, on the wire manufacturer. Okay, Pak Sodon, that's what I want to say. That make yourself to have more exposure, to have more wide knowledge, information, study on it, and build your team more understand about this wire operation, wire application, Pak.
Okay, Pak Nobritus and Mbak Dian, thank you for the brief explanation and advice to our team and our operation. That I'm interesting here about the wire rope inspector here. That it is quite new for my ear. Yeah, that during the 6 years operation that the wire rope inspector we don't have wire rope inspector, I think, yeah. But
Yeah.
our operator, our QC operator, our RTG operator, for the safety, they must do pre-op check and pre-op test before they do the task before operation. And then after finish the shift, they also inform the replacement to do the same thing. This to avoid and to check that if something unusual or something not quite well for QC and RTG, and they must be reported to the supervisor on or engineering team. My question is, the wire rope inspector here, is there from the engineering or another third party or our operation team? Thank you, Pak.
Maybe I can answer a little bit this, Pak Suhardono, Pak Nobertus, because I had experience. What Pak Nobertus said, this is in my area premises before. So honestly, we don't have a specific title or dedicated people for wire rope inspector. So when they had crane inspection certification, they cover how to inspect wire rope. So it is normal if they don't understand very well about how to inspect wire rope because they don't come from wire rope manufacturer. And like I told you, inspection, you cannot guarantee 100% from inspection result, which is a 6-month issued or 1 year's issued. Because wire rope itself is depend on how you maintain also. So basically, wire rope inspector or any kind of wire rope, any kind of inspector, title of inspector, if you read carefully in their report, they can mention one statement. This is only valid when the date they inspect. Because after that, it depends how you use your wire rope.
Yes.
You always perform overload.
Yeah,
you
always checking.
Maintenance, yeah, something like that, Pak. So
Yeah.
don't depend 100% with inspection. You have to take care also how to maintain your wire rope. You have to think about your operation, like, do I always perform overload, shock loading, something like that?
Yeah.
Or I'm good with operation. Like the other question from Pak Santos here, I'm usually do periodical maintenance. After a year use, we found that there are internal corrosion and it shocked us. Because you see, Pak Santos, they perform a good maintenance, periodical maintenance. I think that Pak Santos also perform inspection because maintenance and inspection is related each other. So they still found like a internal corrosion after 1 year. Maybe this is also I had experience when I work with Chevron. My wire rope at onshore operation and wire rope at offshore operation, lifetime is quite different because in offshore is exposure with salt, something like that. But in onshore, no. And also like, okay, I do periodical maintenance, but how about my operation? How about my operation? How about when I install my wire rope? Is it correct or not? Because the wire rope is I think that wire rope is very sensitive. I have experience. I called Pak Nobertus before. I just install my wire rope. And a couple months after, my wire rope is broken. But like I told you, lucky we don't have any fatality accident. We don't have any fatality. So I'm lucky at that time. So I think that pre-use is mandatory. Pre-use, this is important to save you from accident. And sometimes people say like, well, I did inspection, I did maintenance very well, but how much? This is very expensive. This is a lot of money for me to spend. to inspect my wire rope, to perform good maintenance for my wire rope. But think about if you have accident, how many costs you have to pay after that. Sometimes people never think about value. They only think about price. When they look at the price, inspection costs, maintenance costs, they start to, oh, why I have to spend money for this? We are good, we are fine. But when they have accident, it will be change your mind, because it takes a lot of money after accident. And your operation have to shut down. You cannot do any kind of activity. Lucky if you don't have any fatality. If you have fatality, it's another problem. So I encourage you to aware about that, like pre-use inspection, periodical inspection, periodical maintenance, how to install your equipment, how you operate your equipment. This must be your concern. I think that from me. Pak Nobertus, maybe you wanna add? Do you have a question? Or maybe we can go ahead with another question, yeah? From Pak Cipto Panjaitan. Hi Mbak Dian, you must be familiar with the tagline Human Energy, warm regards from Chevron Jakarta. Oh, I miss so much with my company. Chevron is the best company ever. I just want to make sure whether the 70% condition of wire rope is still safe for operation activity. So I work for Chevron since 2007, 2010. So 70%, maybe after that Pak Nobertus can add some information, because Pak Cipto asked me about 70% condition wire rope is still safe for operation activity. As far as I know, Chevron before I decide to make regulation for wire rope operation in Chevron premises. So for running rope, every 3 years, we change all. And then standing rope, every 5 years, we change all. Why I have to take this decision? Because we don't have medical record for our wire rope. There is no one dedicated person to check in daily activity our wire rope. And even crane operator, it is very difficult for me to tell to my crane operator to fill out the logbook, crane logbook. Because sometimes people think about, crane logbook, what is this? Why I have to fill this? I think that I don't need to fill this crane logbook. You're completely wrong, because how I know about our crane operation is from our crane logbook. So do you have overload before? Do you perform overload or not? I can check from our crane logbook. And at that time, Chevron, it is very difficult for me to tell to our crane operator, please fill this crane logbook. We make a copy of the crane logbook and we put all around our platform in our crane, but no, our crane operator not fill in periodically for our crane logbook. So it is difficult for me to track how many times you perform overload for our crane. So that's why I create another regulation like 5 years and 3 years. And Chevron start to think like, oh, this is very expensive. Yes, this is very expensive because every 5 years and 3 years, no matter what our condition, our wire condition, we have to replace. And then if you ask about 70% condition of wire rope is still safe for operation activity, I cannot say like 70% wire rope is still safe or not. I always refer to our standard, how many broken wire we found. So percentage for me is not like a crane operation. Like crane operation, 75% from crane capacity, we can call this a heavy lifting operation or critical lifting operation. But for wire rope, I always stick with how many broken wire that we have. And then if you ask me how many times we have to change our wire rope, before it is very difficult for me to answer. Okay, I can stick with standard or company procedure, company regulation. But I don't know how, because you know, Chevron before, like 6 months, every 6 months we have a lifting equipment campaign, which is we perform inspection all for our equipment. And we perform lifting equipment inspection start from December to January. And after we change the color code, and then June and until July, we perform again another inspection, and then we apply again another different color code. So we have a different color code every 6 months, and then we have only one color code, red, for equipment cannot use or not safe for use. But from day one we finish inspection until we have to perform inspection again, this duration, we don't know what happened here, how our team perform maintenance, how our crane operator perform their operation. This is very difficult to perform. So that's why I decide for that. But at the end, to save costs, we make like a crane logbook is fully comply. And then we create another team. We call it a crane maintenance team, which is responsible for lubrication. Every 6 months we perform lubrication. And how to lubricate your wire rope also you have to understand. Because if you wrong, it can be like before 1 year, already broken, already had corroded internally. So this is important. So if you are 70% condition of wire rope, I never said that 70% condition of wire rope, but I said that depend on how many broken wire we have, and we refer to our standard regulation. This is when I work there. So Pak Cipto, maybe Pak Nobertus wanna explain a little bit because you working before for wire rope manufacture.
Okay, I will ask your question, Pak Cipto, with my question also. About 70%, my question is, what is the reference? What is the criteria of your rejection in your operation? This is my question. I can only help you to explain about this when I know what is your standard, what is your criteria for rejection of your wire rope. Do your criteria apply to all equipment in PCT, just like QCC or RTG, the same criteria? So this is very according depend on what's the standard do you using on your premises. First, the second, whatever your standard is there relevant, or is that state on your manual book or the crane maker, refer to the crane maker instruction. That's it. So I don't know what do you mean with 70% condition. It depends on your criteria. Maybe you can complete your, you can add your explanation by answer my question, so that I can move to further explanation. Okay, Pak, a little bit to Pak Sardono. Pak Sardono,
Yes.
that's what I repeat again, that the fact is you can decide what do you want to achieve on your crane operation. So you decide with your all questions about depth of identification, depth of install, depth of inspection. It's you decide, you and your team. What is your company objective on your operation? First, is your objective already can be achieved by your current standard and procedure? Starting from these two standpoint, Pak, yeah, so we can discuss further. I always say to the customers in every industries, mainly in the port business, which handle and operating so many types equipment in the same times, and with the crane positioning in the specific location. When the operation is served different type of shipping, different requirement, and I always analogy with the forklifts from same manufacturers, same time delivery, the same time installed, different position, different team, but a year, 2 years after since starting operating from the fort, it could be then different each other, the behavior of the crane. So that's why what I explained is very important. Just refer to the 5 points of how to make the wire rope safe. It's very simple. If you just follow these 5 steps, yeah, you can achieve what is your target, what is your objective, what is your company objective. That's my suggestion. And again, from Pa ini depend on his answer about what is the reference, what is the criteria you are using. Pak Dimas,
ini the last question ya.
Can we conclude that several wire rope technical inspection were according to usage of? I don't understand what do you mean. Such as wire rope is used to be on wireline drum, mobile crane, draw walk, rig, electric winch, SST. If the wire rope found permanent U bending, should we reject it? Okay, this is different context. The last one, if the wire rope found a permanent U bending, should we reject it? This is deformation type of wire rope deterioration. The permanent damage is depend on the degree of the damage itself. If you said U bending, and the U bending is totally plastic, could not move back again to the initial condition, and yeah, must be reject. Yeah. Because if the already U bending is very sharp, even the S bending or slightly bend, but if it's already plastic, this is the minor point of the rope from all the rope, because it will be bent over the pulley. It will be the most stress, the place which most stress happen on that point, and sooner or later it will break sooner. Okay, Dimas, I don't know what do you mean. Maybe you can directly talk to me. What do you mean? Can conclude that several wire technical inspection were according to usage of? I don't understand. Maybe you can talk direct to me now. This is the last question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pak Nobertus Budian. I mean, if we use wire rope as a sling to lifting a load, should we? It has to be the same inspection as we use like drumline and on mobile crane or electric winch with wire rope. The technical inspection, Pak.
Okay, it's just it's different same materials wire rope, but different application. Maybe first one you said that you use the wire for slinging, yeah, below the hook. That's correct. So you can use the rejection criteria or the reference standard for inspection. Let's say for from the ASME B30.5. That's correct. Budian, ASME B30.5. Yeah, you can refer to the ASME. And you can refer to API. I think some parts as API mention about the discard criteria for wire sling. So you can ASME and ASME B30.9 and API to D if I'm not mistaken. In BS 13.414, you can also use as a reference, but I think not for the rejection criteria, but for operation. Why this is important, guidance about the application, the operation to the rejection criteria, because this is relating each other. If you don't know how the correct operation according to the standard, it will potentially make the rope damage faster. So it will reject sooner, meet the rejection criteria, you know. Okay. For the mobile crane draw work, yeah, mobile crane has its own reference standard, ASME, ISO, API, depend on the field of the operation or industries. If in the mobile crane using in the oil and gas industries or construction which close to the API, so you must follow to the reference standard applied by the owner, by the company. But the mobile crane which used in the construction, civil, or not in oil and gas with not using API, yeah, you just try to find it on the manual book or the company operation. What's the reference standard for rejection? So from my point of view, I will not use my standard, but I always prepare with the reference standard which used by the user. But if the user doesn't understand, oh, I don't understand which standard, so that's a problem actually. This what the main point of our discussion, just to brainstorming. Yeah. Is that answer? I mean, this what our objective is, just to open your mind and you develop it by yourself. And then if you want to go back to us, to Bu Dian, just make a contact. So what the program we can make, we can discuss further. Okay, Bu Dian.
Yeah, I think that now it's already 11:15. Our friends from Indonesia is already very late, and you have to go for sleep. Yeah. So thank you so much. If you have any question, you just drop me to my email, and or you follow my LinkedIn, or you hit a message in my LinkedIn, and I can come back to you and try to answer your question. If you need like a program that we can create together with your company, also you can drop email to me, and me and Pak Nobertus will be happy to help you to achieve your safe lifting operation in your operation. But I always encourage you, never depend on inspection, because lifting operation is a huge process. It's not only for the operation, and also competency of your people, how you operate your crane, how you perform your maintenance, what procedure do you have for your inspection, maintenance, operation. So we call this a lifting management system. So lifting management system is cover equipment, people, and procedure. If you lack one of these, safe lifting operation, it is difficult to achieve at your area. So this is from me. Thank you so much for all of you to attend this webinar. Hopefully this webinar give you new touch about wire rope, and new knowledge about wire rope, and never stop to achieve safe lifting operation at our area. Never think about cost, because when we have accident, this is another different cost that we create already. So thank you so much, Pak Nobertus. Enjoy your stay in Surabaya now, yeah? You stay in Surabaya now.
Still in Surabaya till next Wednesday.
Okay. So thank you so much. Have a good one for all of us. And now 11 o'clock in the afternoon here in United States. So I have to start my daily activity at my job, and have a good day for all of you, and have a good night. Thank you, Pak Suhardono. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
In leave, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.